Let me go ahead and start with these slides. This is based off of our advisory number 14 that came at 7 o'clock this evening. So next slide, infrared data. We still have a fairly disorganized look at a satellite picture of this typhoon. It is a low-end Category 2 typhoon with maximum sustained winds of 105 miles per hour. Heaviest stuff, of course, is over Guam and northward towards Rota. When I say heavy stuff, I mean the showers and thunderstorms and strong winds, but the strongest winds, of course, are at Rota. Next slide, the microwave data. This was taken from about 12 hours ago. You see a black box on that image. That is where the heaviest rainfall is. That is key to our outlooks over the next 6 to 8 hours. That center of circulation is clearly defined right there, and that has passed over Rota. That was about 2.5 to 3 hours ago. That eye did make a direct passage over Rota. Main concern for us, of course, is the continued heavy rainfall and the banding of the rain band over Guam and through the channel. We're going to be dealing with that for the next several hours. Next image, the radar. Unfortunately for us, we just lost radar about 30 minutes to an hour ago. We're no longer receiving radar data at this time, but this latest image here shows that heavy rainfall that's been persisting across Guam for the last several hours. We expect it to continue for several more hours. And I'll get to the rainfall totals later in this presentation. Next slide, we're still looking at the advisory number 14 from 7 o'clock this evening. The good news is the wind field, the typhoon force wind field is a little bit more compact. The intensification process of this typhoon has been sluggish. It is a Category 2, but fortunately it's not a Category 3. Those typhoon force winds are confined near Rota and north of Guam. That is the good news. The bad news is we're going to have severe tropical storm force winds persist for a couple more hours across Guam, particularly with the heavy rainfall. So again, the closest point of approach is right about now, with it pretty much due north of Guam. And again, as a Category 2 typhoon. Next image, the uncertainty. Well, the uncertainty doesn't really matter to us anymore as it's due north of us, and that's going to start pulling away at this point. Again, good news. Moving westward at 20 miles per hour. So it's going to continue quickly away from our area as fast as it came towards us. So things will improve overnight, but expect the rough weather to continue through early Tuesday morning. Next slide. This is the current data at 7 o'clock early this evening. We were looking at 14.1 north latitude, 145 east, and that was based off of our radar fix. That was 50 miles north-northeast of Guam. Again, that was at 7 o'clock north-northeast of Guam, and is now due north of us and moving away. 15 miles west of Rota. It did make a direct passage over Rota. We are getting reports, I believe one of the guys here at the office said that the wind gusts went from 80 knot wind gusts of Rota down to 8 knots within a short period of time. Current movement, of course, is towards the west at 20 miles per hour, and we expect this to continue generally westward with a slight decrease in forward speed the next few days. It'll be well out of our area very soon. Current intensity 105 miles per hour, gust up to 125 miles per hour around the center. And the wind field size, of course, typhoon force winds extend 50 miles from the center, but the damaging tropical storm force winds extend up to 180 miles to the north and 120 miles to the south. CPA is now. Next frame, the wind information, the tropical storm force winds, they are ongoing and will continue for a couple more hours. The 74 mile per hour winds, we no longer expect the sustained typhoon force winds, but we do expect typhoon force wind gusts to persist at least through 10 p.m. tonight, particularly across northern Guam. Most recently, about 8 o'clock, we did clock a peak wind gust here at the Weather Service office in Tijan at 74 miles per hour. At 7 o'clock, our radar estimated 90 mile per hour winds at 2,000 feet above the surface. This is important to know because these heavy showers, the heavy rain bands, These heavy showers can push these stronger winds down towards the surface. So as long as we have these strong winds aloft, any heavy showers, strong rain bands can bring these stronger winds to the surface. Peak wind gust at Anderson Air Force Base was 82 miles per hour. Again, that's a wind gust, not sustained. Next slide, wind information. We expect typhoon force winds, the wind gusts, the typhoon force wind gusts, to begin to subside around 10 o'clock tonight. But the severe tropical storm force destructive winds of 58 miles per hour and greater will continue through about 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock tonight, again associated with the heaviest rain bands. But the tropical storm force damaging winds of 39 miles per hour will continue through Tuesday morning about 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. So again, we ask that people stay sheltered in place and don't venture out at least until after sunrise Tuesday. We don't want people out on the streets before sunrise because there's likely going to be a lot of debris out there, flooded streets. You just don't want to be out there. Next slide shows our wind timing chart from the Hurricane software. Again, I'll just discuss that, so we're going to flip on to the rainfall information. The heaviest rainfall, of course, was for Rhoda, and I included Guam in here, again, all based off of the radar imagery and the microwave data. We show this as you would say, a bottom-heavy typhoon with the heaviest showers and stuff south of the center. So far, we've measured about 3.5 inches of rainfall since 4 o'clock. That was 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock. And we do expect an additional 3 to 5 inches through sunrise Tuesday. So some areas could see upwards of 5 to 7 inches of additional rainfall. We do have a lot of reports of flash flooding, especially in the flood-prone area in Mauricio and other areas across central Guam. So we do have an urban and small stream flood advisory in effect, and a flash flood warning is also in effect. It's important to tell people turn around, don't surround. They shouldn't even be turning around because they should not be out there. So we ask that people do not venture out. That's why I'm doing this via phone, because it's just simply too dangerous to be out on the road. The flash flood warning in effect through 1 o'clock Tuesday morning. Next slide, season surf information. I pulled some data from the Retidian buoy. Information from that buoy is in and out. We're having some communications problem with that buoy due to conditions. We're looking at significant wave height of 29 feet. We just came out with a 35-foot peak wave from the Retidian buoy. We expected these conditions, and they will persist for several more hours. Things will start subsiding Tuesday morning, but seas and surf will remain dangerous through Tuesday. So we ask that people also stay away from the water. Don't go out on the water. Surf along windward coast to 15 to 20 feet. Next slide. The comments, worst conditions are now, and they'll continue through about 10 o'clock tonight. Expect severe tropical storm force conditions to taper to weak tropical storm conditions by midnight. And of course, severe tropical storm winds are sustained 50 to 73 miles per hour, and they will subside to weak tropical storm. That would be 39 to 49 miles per hour. So tropical storm conditions in general will linger through early Tuesday morning, subsiding below tropical storm force around 3 o'clock in the morning. Again, we ask that people stay in shelter and off the streets through sunrise Tuesday. And the last frame, typhoon warning does remain in effect for Guam. We'll be issuing our intermediate advisory 14A. That will be no later than 11 o'clock this evening. And our next scheduled public advisory will be number 15, no later than 2 o'clock Tuesday morning. And again, the Retidian buoy is in and out of communications. The Typhoon buoy is in and out of communications. We lost the Doppler radar. We're no longer receiving communications from the radar. So this is where our reports to our office and our social media are critical and would be very helpful to our operations, what you all are seeing and receiving via reports. We are on generator power at the weather office, but we are fully operational. All hands are on deck. So we're here to see this through its duration. And And that concludes this weather brief. Any questions?
Hang on. Let me get the media out of here.
Okay. Take it tight.
Let's head out a little bit farther. If you're just tuning in, I'm Crystal Palker reporting from the Office of Civil Defense, Homeland Security. This is Agania Heights. This is basically where all the information, all the press releases, all those advisories are kind of coming out of, the closures, all the information is coming out of. And so this is our latest briefing. A lot of you are asking on the questions, on the comments, when is it going to end? And so that was Landon Eidlet from the National Weather Service. He's been our go-to guy for this particular storm, for Typhoon Mangkhut. I think that's how you pronounce it. And he's saying right now the worst is happening. The worst of this storm is right now. And it will persist to about 10 or 11 o'clock tonight. Again, it was Rhoda that got the brunt of the force. The eye made a direct passage over Rhoda just a few hours ago. The rain band, though, we're going to still see that rain band over Guam. A lot of heavy rainfall for several more hours. So don't go outside. As per Landon's advice, turn around, don't drown. You do not want to be on the roads right now. All the advisories say stay off the road, stay in shelter. Netflix and chill, whatever it is, do not go outside right now. You can probably go outside the earliest tomorrow morning after the sun comes up. And so good news is that, again, the worst is right now. The closest point of approach is right now and will persist to about 10 or 11 o'clock. Typhoon Mangkhut is continuing its track west. Things will improve overnight. We'll still experience tropical storm winds. Don't go out don't go on the streets before sunrise. Again, that was their biggest advice. Flash flood warning is still in effect for the island, so please do not go outside. Flash flood warning in effect. Turn around, don't drown. It's too dangerous. The worst conditions are now. A typhoon warning remains in effect for the island. And again, our next weather advisory will be at 2 a.m. For the latest, you can check out KUAM. We'll be posted here all night. Thanks for watching.